let alone our profession, and just how much you are appreciated from not just Advantage, but as an SPD leader and an OR nurse. Thank you for what you've done for the last umpteen years. How many years have you done this?
Oh gosh, 40?
40 years?
Yeah, at
wow.
least.
That's awesome. I know the legacy you've left from just casual conversation I have with other professionals, and your name is mentioned, and they just go on and on about how you help them, how you raise the bar for our profession. I've worked with you on the Amy meeting and the committee for several years, and your voice has just been paramount in how you've affected change and increased the standard of care for everybody practicing. What you've done is just, everybody wants to grow up to be you.
Well, you know what? I didn't do it alone. We're all in this together, and it's people like you and Advantage and APIC and AORN that have given me the opportunity to be able to try to help other people and networking and all that. But thank you from the bottom of my heart for everything that you do and for recognizing the contributions that I have made. I'm really going to miss everybody. However, I'm just really glad that everybody is finally understanding the importance of what reprocessing is. And not just the facilities, but the organizations now understand how important it is. So I think that this profession is just going to soar.
I agree. I agree. Like, out of 40 years, what's your favorite part of what you've gotten to do?
To be able to network people together and to break down silos, I think. Like being the first sterile processing professional that actually was on the board of directors of AORN. You know, they didn't talk before. Now, like Isham and AORN are working together, Amy and Isham and AORN, and, you know, just not just even the big professional organizations, but in facilities, getting them to understand that it takes a village and that we're all there for infection prevention, and they can't do it alone. They've got to work together and do everything as a multidisciplinary group.
That's right. That's right. We see a big push that IP is just really jumping in. They're not as fearful. They're getting their questions answered. You know, they can walk in with a little more confidence. From the IP stands, but also the OR, just the OR and SPD side, those relationships are getting reestablished and mended are just phenomenal. I mean, how it's moving, how you have affected that change, and everybody has a little bit, right? Everybody gives their piece. It does take a village, but everybody brings value, and the value, I'm just telling you, you're going to be so missed.
Thank you. So, but you know, I think the other contributing thing is just like the book that I wrote for preparing for accreditation surveys. I mean, you can find that information, but in all these different areas.
That's right.
And so, like, for instance, you get the Joint Commission book. It's like this, and SPD or GI, they only need this piece and that piece. So it was kind of like a puzzle, putting it together. And I feel that's what we need to do, is take the pieces that's important for patients, safe patient care, and work together as a multidisciplinary team as one instead of different silos.
I agree. Well, thank you. Thank you for your time.
Oh, thank you for everything that you guys have done, and for Advantage for giving me the opportunity to work with you.
Thank you. Thank you. You're going to be missed.
So what advice would you give to people first getting into this industry, and what would make them want to continue that professional development? What do they need to kind of put in their head as that tool that will allow them to?
I think first of all, get involved, volunteer to even just little things like help write policies and things like that. But when you get the opportunity to be a part of something bigger, like maybe being on an Amy committee or an Isham committee or running for a position, do it. Get yourself out there. Get yourself known, because then you can go back to your facility and make a difference, because it's not just one person saying it. They're bringing back that information from nationwide, or actually worldwide, on what's reducing risks and increasing patient care.
So when you did your first speech, do you remember it?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I was an OR nurse, and it was at AORN. And it was on eliminating ETO. It was when hydrogen peroxide first came on the market, and we were one of the first hospitals in Colorado to have the hydrogen peroxide sterilizer. So I think the title is sun setting on ETO and rising on low temperature sterilization, or something like that. And I was scared to death to go out there. But I just, after the first couple minutes, it just came out. And each time, even when I speak today, I'm probably nervous for the first 30 seconds. And then I thought, hey, they're here to listen to me. So here's what I'm going to have to say.
When was the point in your career that when you moved from just being a hospital professional and you said, I can reach and help more people if I just get out of my geographic area? And what does that look like?
Well, actually, two things probably. The first one, when I went from the OR to manage sterile processing, because they had taken sterile processing from materials management and put it into the OR. So who wants to manage that? I'll do it. So I went down there. I was down there for about the first week, and my staff would say, what does Amy say about that? What's Amy's guideline on that? And I said, who's Amy? I want to meet her. So then I found out who Amy was. I got involved with Amy, and that kind of helped explode things.
Yeah.
And I think the second thing was getting involved with my local chapter. I'd always been involved with AORN since I was an OR nurse, but to get involved with the local CS chapter, I realized that as a nurse, wow, I can make a huge difference because the OR will listen to me. And so I think those were the two things that kind of started
that movement.
That movement of getting involved, not just locally, but sort of nationally.
Like, how do you tell people who are in the field that have been in the field, and what should they do when they decide to mentor somebody, or if you want to be mentored, how do you find that person that will spend that time with you, or what does that look like in your opinion?
Well, usually you look for somebody that you feel comfortable with and you can trust. And, mentorship goes two different ways. You have to mentor and then want to be mentored.
That's right.
So, you look for that person who also is being mentored. I have to tell you, for me, I think it was my AORN chapter. I was at the student nurse meeting, and I was with a colleague in my AORN chapter, and she pushed me to be the one to speak to the student nurses. I'm like, no, you do it. No, she said, you do it. And that mentorship really did help me. And then I said to her before I went out there, you always seem so calm and like you know everything. I don't feel like I could do that. She goes, I'm like a duck. I'm calm on the outside, but underneath I'm paddling as fast as I can go.
Yes.
And so you just look for people that make you feel comfortable and is willing to back you up.
Great. Is there any trinkets of wisdom that you could give a brand new supervisor or a manager of SPD or even an operating room that would help them be successful that you learned over your career?
Actually knowing what the current standards are, and don't just go by what he or she said or what you learned in orientation, because things have changed and this industry is changing so much. You've got to have the books like the Amy books or the AORN books or the guidelines and know what those are so that you can speak with authority, and then people will respect that more. and you know that if you're going by the guidelines and standards, you know you're doing the right thing. And it's all about decreasing risk to patients and making it safer. So knowing what those guidelines are would probably be the best thing that I know. And then become certified, because that certification helps with the let everybody know that you are really a professional and that you want to move forward.
So on the personal side, do you have like a hobby or some interest that only you know that you haven't like told anybody, or just your really close friends that you're like, this is my relief, I like to fly fish, I don't know.
Well, I just tried fly fishing last week, and it wasn't quite my cup of tea, but most people know that I like to stay very active, riding bikes and stuff like that, but my real passion is pickleball. And pickleball is a sport that anybody can do, even those of us that are maybe getting a little more senior in our age, can still be very active, get a lot of steps, have fun, and it's competitive, and I'm very competitive. So I don't, I think a lot of people do know that about me, but
I think they do.
yeah,
Pickleball is your thing.
it is my thing. So I'm going to use a lot of that passion training people or teaching people how to play pickleball in my little community.
Oh, good for you. Good. That's a good thing.
I think so.
That's wonderful.
Well, we just want to thank you for taking the time to share your energy and your passion, your knowledge and support. Has been unbelievable.